All right, guys, we're going to start off nice and slow here. So we're working on the tank simulator that we talked about in previous videos. We have so far gone through like the sequence of operations in manual and auto mode. We have created this scene in the Factory IO. We've gotten our Factory IO and our TIA portal talking to each other. So the first thing we should start off with is our IO table in TIA portal. So if we go to here, and go to File and Drivers, we can see that we have all of our inputs and our outputs that we did on the previous video. So those are basically our IO table. I don't have anything set up in Excel spreadsheet or anything like that. That would be a good video though, being able to take Excel spreadsheet and drop it into the IO table. I'm not at that point yet. So what I want you to do is go back one video or go look at the comment section here. There should be a PDF that describes all the inputs and outputs that we're using for this simulation here. And let's start dropping these guys into our TIA portal. So we're going to open up our TIA portal. We're going to open up our base PLC program for Factory IO. So we did that in the previous video. So we'll open this guy up. And what we're going to do is once it's open, we're going to resave it under a different name. This one has all of the configurations in order for the Factory IO and the TIA portal to talk to each other. So we've just left this as a base program, and every time that we need to tell those two programs to talk to each other, we can resave this under a different name. So we'll just let this open up. I'll pause the video and come back once it comes in. Excellent. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to the project view now. Okay, so we can see here that if we go to PLC 1, and open this guy here. And if we go to our program blocks and go to our main OB1, then there shouldn't be anything here for our main program. We're going to resave this right away before we make any changes, and we'll call this our tank program now. Okay, so you can see here that there's nothing here in the programming, right? All we have here is the configurations for our PLC. So let's save this as a different name. So save as. And instead of the base PLC program, I'm just simply going to call this tank. Okay, so I'll save it now. Beautiful. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to put in all of our PLC tags. We're coming over here to PLC tags. We're opening this up. Let's show all tags here. So it looks like we have to double left click here. Okay, so there's nothing in this program yet, right? This is simply just the configurations to talk to the PLC. So let's start dropping in all of our IO here. So we'll start off with our inputs, then we'll follow with our outputs as well. So starting here with the first one here. My first one is my e-stop. Okay, let's see what comes up when I hit enter here. Okay, so that comes up with a Boolean value and it's input 0.0. Beautiful, that's exactly the address that I had to start off with. Okay, my next one is my stop push button. So we're just going to slowly put in all our values here. Next one is the start push button. Okay, next one is reset. So if you've thought everything through, like my initial time doing this program, I slowly built up the whole program, but I had already decided where everything was going to be wired to. So this was the first step that I did as well. So my next one is my fill. That's my push button. Okay, next one is my drain. Okay, next one is my auto switch. Remember that I said in the previous video that I have both an auto and a manual. So you'll see that auto and manual are going into two different inputs here. So I input 06 and input 07 for my auto and my manual. If you're low on inputs though, you can always just use one of those guys, right? Because it's not going to be an auto and manual at the same time. So you can use one switch and use the opposite. Like if you're using a normally open for one, you can use a normally closed for the other. Okay, so next one, I have all of my push buttons here. So I have my 0% push button. Okay, then I have 25% push button and it just follows through. Same thing for all these guys. 75. Nope. Wake up. 50. 75%. Okay, these are all Boolean in that they're just on and off, 24 volts or 0 volts. You'll see here that I have 0 through 7 for my first 8 bits, and then it switches to input 1.0, input 1.1, input 1.2, input 1.3, and following through. So 0, 25, 50, 75, 100%. Push button now. Okay, these are all inputs. And that is the next one is my my tank level meter. Okay, so that tank level sensor I put to ID 104, and it's a real value there. Okay, so let's do that. So ID 104. Okay, so this I'm first going to change to a real value. So right now it's a Boolean. I'm going to go scroll down until I say real. There we go. So it's now a real value. As soon as I do this, it'll tell me that this address here is not the appropriate address. So we're going to change this now. We're going to say it's percent ID 104. Beautiful. Now we're good. Okay, let me just write that down. Sweet. Okay, the next ones are our outputs. So my output starting at Q.0 is my 0% light. Now, when I hit enter, watch what happens. My previous one was a real value, so it makes this guy a real value. I just need this guy to be on or off. So I'm going to change this to a Boolean value. Okay, and with this guy, I need this one to be addressed. Percent Q 0.0. Beautiful. Okay, next one is my 25% light. Now it should sequentially just go up. So there's 0.1. Okay. Okay, next one is my reset light. Okay, so that should be Q0.5. There it is. Okay, next one is my fill light. So these are just all my indicator lights. It's Q0.6. Drain light. Okay, then I have my start light. Stop light. Okay, you'll see again once we got to Q0.7. Now we're on to Q1.0, Q1.1. Beautiful. And then I have two analog outputs. I have my fill valve and I have my drain valve. Here, let's hold off on this one. Let's change this fill valve first because again, it's coming in as a Boolean value. We know that that is a real value. Okay. And again, it's going to tell me that I have the wrong address here. So that guy there is QD 100. Okay, and let's see what comes up when I put in my discharge. So it's my discharge or drain valve. I'm going to call it my drain valve. Okay, and as soon as we click enter, it should come up with a real value. Oh, and look at that, it gave us the appropriate address as well. That's QD 104, matching with this guy right here, QD 104. Nice. Okay, so, and I believe that's because they are 32 bits each, and so they take out, they take up 4 words there, so, or 4 bytes. So they go from QD 100 to QD 104. Nice, so I've done all my inputs and now all my outputs. Okay, if you're bored to tears there, then hopefully you hit fast forward and you just watch me put all these guys in. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to start off just with our main OB1. So we're coming over here, we're double clicking on main OB1. And we're going to start off with our beginning part where we're creating our stop, our start, push button with a holding contact below, and those two push buttons are going to turn on our system run. But for now, what we're going to do is we're going to stop here, and on the next video, we'll start in on using our stop and our start push buttons here, and we'll have those guys turning on our system ready to run. We'll go from there, then we'll build up putting in our e-stop as well. Then we'll implement a reset push button. We'll do our auto manual, but everything all in steps. So next video, we're going to start off using our stop and start station, creating a 3-wire control, turning on our system run. All right, guys, thanks very much for your patience. We'll see you in the next video.